observer. Fair juror, because I was a fair juror. And by the way, the case is over. I can't tell. Well, I guess I can say what happened. Can I say what happened?
I mean, it's over.
The company.
It's public record now.
Okay, good. We ruled. Well, I can't even say we. I was an alternate juror.
They ruled.
They ruled, and I will keep my opinion to myself unless someone asks me, that the company in question was not responsible for a part of a park in which a woman fell. That's essentially what it came down to. And it was a very tough process because I was an alternate juror. My judge, who I'm a huge fan of, he's a great guy.
Clearly, he's a huge fan of you as well.
That's fine. I'm a fan of his. I think he's good at the judge thing.
Mutual love.
He's a big Met fan. He's a big Cowboy fan. He told me a great story about his dad and the Cowboys that I would summarize this way for you. My judge became a Cowboy fan when he was very young. It was a very innocent story, and it was before they were good. And it became a tradition. Him and his dad would watch the Cowboys. They were on national TV a lot, America's team, every Thanksgiving. When his father passed away 20 years ago, his mom says to him, by the way, your dad never wanted me to tell you this, but he was a big Giants fan.
No.
And he's like, I had no idea. I just assumed he was a Cowboy fan with me for 30 years.
Because they watched the Cowboys?
Because they watched it together, and I guess as a father, he didn't want to tell him, like, I kind of don't like a team.
All right.
Wow. And he was a Giant fan. I thought that story was beautiful.
I can kind of see that because the Cowboys were on all the damn time.
Makes complete sense.
It makes absolute sense.
And his dad, sounds like a great guy himself, was like, my son loves the Cowboys. I don't want to tell him that I'm a Giants fan. So I thought you'd appreciate that.
I do appreciate that.
But big fan of the judge. Good guy, I like him.
Take the facade off.
Take what facade off?
The Cowboys facade and become the real Giants fans that your father birthed you into.
Oh, I love that. Wow. But I also had a great time with my fellow jurors. In fact, we took a selfie right after.
Really?
I was thinking about tweeting out the selfie, but then I stopped because I told them people on Twitter are very mean, and you don't deserve that.
What are you guys, a little league team?
We bonded. We had a very good time.
Pizza after?
We had a very, very good time here.
I'm a loser.
14 of you all?
There were 8 of us, 2 alternates. And so the other alternate, very lovely lady, we had to spend time in a room, just us, with no cell phones and not allowed to talk about the case. So I'm like, this is like awkward.
So how long were you sitting in there?
We were there for an hour and a half. Great woman. Talked about kids. Talked about, how to not have our kids sleep in our beds. And then...
Did she have a solution for you?
Well, no, I was more giving the advice because she's got even younger kids.
Oh, got it.
So, and then we may have talked about the case. We may have broken it down. Is that okay?
That's interesting.
What is interesting?
That's what they do with alternate jurors. They put you guys in a room, no phones, no anything. Now, had you both been single, you think anybody's ever shagged in that situation?
You at least got to get some digits.
I was thinking about the exact same thing.
That's a great question.
Just picture a 31-year-old, it's a male, female, nothing to do for an hour and a half, you know, after you talk for a little bit.
You know what you do, Sean? You start looking over your shoulder like, okay, there's no camera up there. There's no camera up there.
You guys got some minds on you. But it is a great question. Like, you put 2 people in a room with no phones. Like, phone makes it easy to just go into your own universe. We didn't have to converse. We could have sat there and not said anything.
But that's awkward.
It would have been awkward. But I got to tell you, it was a very natural conversation. Right. I think what I've learned is that when it's parent and parent, and you've got kids that are similar ages, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so much that you actually have in common. And so it was very interesting. And she was a nice woman, and everybody on the jury was nice. I became lifelong friends with them. I didn't exchange numbers. Maybe I should have.
Yeah, I figure, a little follow on Instagram for everybody.
You know what I thought of? I thought of Tiki. When Tiki was telling the story about being at the Giant event last night and seeing a bunch of people he hadn't seen in a while and how cool it was, I started thinking about my fellow jurors. Like, we should have parties every once in a while to just hang out, laugh about those few days we had together.
You're not the survivors of the Titanic. Again, you spent a week with these people. I guarantee you if I ask, including the gal you sat in the room with, you don't know any of their names.
I know one name.
One!
I do.
Is it the gal you sat in the room with?
Of course not.
Believe it or not, I don't. I forgot.
You sat there with just talk for an hour and a half and you don't have a name?
Because at what point are you saying, what's your name? You never say that. You're just talking.
Did you introduce yourself to her?
I think at the beginning of this, no one ever actually introduced themselves. So it was just, you just started talking. Like, that's not as awkward as you guys are making it out to be. Like, you know everybody's name? I feel bad I don't know her name. She was very nice.
When you say
I know
hello,
one person's name. I give the credit. I'm going to put this woman over. I'm going to give her a lot of credit. There was a woman there Very nice lady. Her name was Susan. Okay. Put her over. And when we as the jurors had to select the foreperson, okay, that was on the jury. So when me and this other woman went to the private room, one of the conversations was, who would we pick as the foreperson? Okay. And I said, it's not even a question. Like, it is clearly her, Susan. Not even a question. You could just tell.
Yeah.
Leadership, motherly, smart. Like, very smart. Sweet, has it all. And I said, it's Susan. If they don't pick Susan, they're a bunch of idiots. And she's like, completely agree with you. So after everything was done and we all start catching up, I was like, gotta ask who the foreperson was. No, I knew who the foreperson was because once the jury announced the decision, I saw it and I said, how was that process? They're like, oh, it was a no-brainer. And I said, see, that's a person that, like, someone in the locker room who clearly shows they're a leader.
Yeah.
So is that like sports? Do you believe Susan was actually the best juror or just the best leader?
Best leader. Because I think when you're going to have, I'll tell you why.
The Jacob Trouba question.
When you're going to have people.
I think that matters, actually.
I do too. Because I think when you're going to have people arguing about a case, and we did, and everybody took it very seriously, even as an alternate. I have my opinions on the case. I was writing it out. I was talking to her about it. I talked to my jurors about it afterwards. You need to hear all opinions and not shut anybody down. And I think that's leadership. Like, I don't know if I'd be good at that. I'd be perfectly honest with you. Would I have been a good foreperson? I don't know. I probably would have yelled at them. Luke even said earlier today, I belittle him when I disagree with him.
You wouldn't have even got their names, so of course you're not the right leader.
You spent an hour and a half in a room with this woman. You talked about your kids sleeping in the bed, and you don't know her name.
I forgot her name.
By the way, that's a skill, like learning and remembering people's names. It's a skill.
Yeah, you got to repeat it.
Well, it's different, actually. It's different than just repeating it.
What is it?
Because repeating it is one thing. It's identifying someone with the same name. So if I learn, hey, your name's Sean. You just meant, hey, my name is Sean.
Yeah.
You immediately have to think about someone you know whose name is Sean.
Give it to me.
I would say Sean Payton, even though it's spelled differently. But hey, my name is Sean. I'd be like, all right. I would immediately think Sean, and then it helps you remember.
That's
it
very
associates
smart.
you.
That's very. You know what the problem is? I think that's a great strategy, and I'm
It's
actually
just hard to do it in real time.
It's what's hard is that in a setting of being jurors, no one actually formally introduced themselves.
No, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about the juror.
Well, that's where these guys are wrong. Like it's not. There wasn't a formal introduction.
But I'm just saying in general, because then when I see you, I'm going to think Sean Payton.
Hard for me to do that. I don't know any other Tiki, though.
Well, my name is the easiest in the world to remember. When I say my name, people remember.
That's true. You've got the advantage of the badass name.
Right.
But it was a great experience, and I would advise all Americans that when you get your summons to serve jury duty, you should do it. Because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, that's how you
and
close
because
this out?